In September 2025, Russia proudly showcased a new batch of Su-34 fighter bombers coming off the production line. Brand new, fully operational, ready for combat. That should be good news for Moscow, right? After all, Russia is still producing advanced aircraft while fighting the biggest war in Europe since 1945. But there's something very strange going on. While those cameras were filming this delivery, something was happening on the other side. Russia can't stop this. Why the numbers? Well, they tell a completely different story. Russian propaganda can no longer hide that. On paper, this war should have ended in just a few days. That's because in 2022, Russia possessed one of the world's largest air forces, and Ukraine couldn't even scratch them. It had fewer than 100 old Soviet-era planes. But things have changed a lot in recent years. In 2024, Ukraine intercepted more than 83% of Russian missiles and is now destroying the large Russian strategic bombers inside their own territory. Want to know how they're doing it? The answer starts with a system that was supposed to be invincible. I'm talking about the S-400. This is considered one of the best air defense systems in the world. Russia has always marketed it as being able to shoot down anything in the sky, but Ukraine figured out how to destroy it, and they didn't do it by luck, but in a very well-planned way. To understand the scale of this destruction, we need to talk about Oryx. This is an independent group of analysts that works with open-source intelligence. This means they only count as confirmed what they can prove with photos or videos. No rumors, no propaganda. If there isn't a clear image showing the destroyed equipment, they simply disregard it. That's why Oryx's numbers are considered extremely reliable by military personnel and analysts all over the world. And Oryx has already confirmed the destruction of at least 18 S-400 launchers. Now consider this. Each complete system like this costs between $500 million and $1 billion. But the Ukrainian strategy is even smarter than just destroying launchers. They attack the radars, and without the radar, the whole system is blind. Look, there are two main radars in these systems. The first is a giant radar called Big Bird. It detects targets up to 600 kilometers away. It is literally the eyes of the system. The second is the radar that guides the missiles to the target. Destroy either one and the whole system becomes useless. A billion-dollar piece of junk. And here's something that few people know. Ukrainian engineers know these systems thoroughly. During the Soviet Union, Ukraine helped build the predecessor of the S-400. They know every weakness. Just so you know, in August 2025, a Ukrainian drone destroyed one of those giant radars in Crimea. Days later, another attack and another. None are random. They end up creating a huge gap in the Russian defense. And when you create a gap, you're letting drones and missiles through to hit even more valuable targets. As you can see, this creates an impossible problem for Russia. If they do nothing, Ukraine attacks freely. If they move another S-400 system to cover the gap, they create another gap somewhere else. It's a game they can't win. Now, with the skies more open, Ukraine has started to strike deep inside Russia. Targets like ammunition depots, military factories, and air bases. Now, consider this. Russia has 20 large ammunition depots near the border, and Ukraine is hitting them one by one. And here's an impressive detail. The explosions are so big that they can be seen from space by satellites. The practical result of these attacks is brutal. They cut off the artillery supply to the Russian troops on the front line. But nothing compares to what happened on June 1st, 2025. On that day, the famous operation nicknamed Spiderweb took place. It is considered by many to be the most audacious attack of the entire war. Just to give you an idea, this operation took 1 year, 6 months, and 9 days to plan. President Zelensky personally oversaw every detail, and it was kept in absolute secrecy. Not even the United States was informed. Beforehand, the plan was bold: to attack 5 Russian air bases at the same time, 5 bases spread across 5 different time zones. And the most impressive thing of all, the attack wouldn't come from outside Russia, it would come from within. To accomplish this feat, Ukraine smuggled 117 drones into Russia. They didn't do this by bringing them in whole, but rather in pieces. And then they secretly reassembled them and hid them inside regular cargo trucks. And you know what was even more brilliant, what the Ukrainian Secret Service did? They created a fake company and hired Russian drivers who didn't know anything about it. These drivers transported the trucks for thousands of kilometers across Russia, thinking it was just a normal job. That by itself could be part of a spy movie script. On the day of the attack, when the trucks got close to the air bases, the Ukrainian operators took remote control. The roofs of the trucks opened, and then 117 drones were launched. One target was in Siberia, over 4,000 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. It was the first time in history that Ukrainian weapons reached that far. Each drone cost between $600 and $1,000. These are drones you could buy online, but Ukraine equipped them with technology that made Russian systems completely useless. The most surprising part of this story is yet to come. After all, how did such simple drones manage to penetrate Russia's most advanced defenses? First, the drones use software called ArduPilot. It's a free, open-source program that anyone can download. This program allows the drone to navigate even if all global positioning system signals are blocked. It basically calculates the position based on speed and direction. And the best part is it's impossible to be jammed by radio. Secondly, they used artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence was trained to recognize Russian planes. And do you know how they trained this artificial intelligence? With photos of museum models, plastic airplane miniatures, the artificial intelligence learned not only to identify the plane, but also where to hit its weakest point. The fuel tanks in the wings. Videos from the drones themselves show them landing with surgical precision on the wings of the bombers before exploding. The damage was devastating. Ukraine says it hit 41 military planes. The United States confirmed about 20 hit, with 10 completely destroyed. Russia admitted that 5 bases were attacked and several planes caught fire. But here's the crucial point. These bombers cannot be replaced. The factories that made them shut down when the Soviet Union ended. Each lost plane is gone for good, but Ukraine has gone far beyond just destruction. It became a psychological weapon. That's because the timing of the announcement of this operation
was perfect.
Zelensky revealed it on the same day he sent a delegation to negotiate peace in Istanbul. The message was clear. We are negotiating from strength, not weakness. Even Russian military analysts compared this to the attack on Pearl Harbor, not because of the scale, but because of the shock, the idea that nowhere in Russia is truly safe. But the impact of this operation extends beyond the destroyed planes. It has completely changed how Russia can use its air force. You see, when your air bases are under constant threat, when your defense systems are being taken down one by one, you can no longer operate the way you planned. Before, Russian fighter jets carried out close attack missions, flew low, provided direct support to the troops, and identified targets precisely. Now they can only launch glide bombs from afar, staying kilometers away, dropping the bomb and fleeing. It's much less effective. They're afraid to get close, and while Russia retreats, Ukraine advances. With the F-16s and Mirage 2000S donated by Europe, Ukrainian planes now fly. Offensive missions, destroying bridges, attacking supply convoys, cutting off roads around Donbas. They are doing exactly what the Russian Air Force should be doing. That's a role reversal. Ukraine, which started the war with virtually no offensive air capability, now sets the rules of the game in the sky. And Russia, which had one of the largest air forces in the world, is stuck in a defensive posture. This is what it means to dominate the skies. This war has shown another uncomfortable truth. Conflict isn't just about who has more weapons, it's about who can afford them. A $1,000 drone destroys a $50 million bomber. That's a ratio of 1 to 50,000. A $1,000 drone destroys a $350 million early warning aircraft, 1 to 350,000. A $1,000 drone destroys an S-400 battery, $1 billion, 1 to a million. This math is breaking the Russian economy. Right now, Russia is spending 40% of its entire government budget on defense, 7.5% of the country's entire gross domestic product. And even so, this huge investment is being destroyed by drones that cost less than a used car. And there's more. The Russian defense industry is collapsing. It's short at least 160,000 workers, including 120,000 engineers. And when they hire new workers, many of them are just replacing people who are retiring. The government is forcing defense companies to accept contracts that don't even cover the cost of production. The companies operate at a loss, lay people off, and cut quality. The system is destroying itself. In civil aviation, it's the same story. The sanctions have cut off access to parts, and now airlines are being forced to dismantle planes to keep others flying. Meanwhile, Russia has promised to produce more than 1,000 new planes by 2030. Want the truth? Almost none have been made yet. A 2024 report showed that the Russian Air Force is operating at less than 75% of its pre-war capacity. The situation is pretty complicated. They lose 60 planes a year just due to wear and lack of maintenance. On the other hand, they can only produce 23 new ones per year. Think about it. 60 planes lost, 23 made. The numbers just don't add up. Even Russia's main source of money is falling, oil and gas. Sanctions and Ukrainian attacks on refineries have caused revenue to drop by more than 20%. With that, the Kremlin was forced to announce cuts to the military budget for 2026. In other words, they're admitting that they can no longer pay the bill. Meanwhile, Ukraine has built something completely different. While Russia relies on a few giant state-controlled factories, Ukraine has created a decentralized network of more than 500 companies producing drones. From large companies to garage workshops, if one is destroyed, the others keep going. And what connects all these companies and allows them to work together? It's something called Delta, a cloud-based digital platform that works as the brain of the Ukrainian army. It integrates information from drones, satellites, ground sensors, and human intelligence into a single screen. All of this in real time. All soldiers can access it on their phone. When a workshop discovers an improvement in a drone, that information is shared through the Delta platform with the entire network in a matter of days. During the defense of Kyiv, the system processed up to 1,500 Russian targets per day. Now it has evolved even further. It uses artificial intelligence to analyze thousands of drone videos simultaneously, automatically detecting and identifying enemy equipment. It's not just an army of hardware, it's an army of software. And do you want to know what the real impact of all this is? Well, the numbers don't lie. Let's compare the Russian advance in Ukrainian territory. In March 2022, they captured 46,000 square miles in 5 weeks. Now, that number has dropped to 5.6 thousand square miles per day. That's a huge drop, about 99%. With the donated F-16 and Mirage 2000 aircraft, Ukraine now attacks with real planes, destroying roads. It forces Russia into a defensive posture, and that changed the game in the peace negotiations. The whole world is watching and learning. NATO spent decades thinking it would always have air superiority with expensive planes like the F-35. Ukraine proved that you can dominate the skies with cheap and smart drones. NATO countries now hire Ukrainian instructors. The United Kingdom and Romania are even manufacturing drones with Ukrainian design. China is also keeping an eye on things. The Chinese army studies every detail with Taiwan in mind. I don't know if you know this, but China has become the secret supplier in this war. It sells drone components to both Russia and Ukraine. I'm talking about fiber optic cables, batteries, and electronic components. If anyone is profiting from this war, it's China. As you can see, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine marked the birth of a new kind of combat, a low-altitude battlefield, from the treetops up to a few thousand feet high, where swarms of small and smart drones dominate. Before, only superpowers could strike from afar. Now, smaller countries can do the same, with cheap technology and innovation. The lesson is quite clear. The future of war won't be defined by the most expensive weapons. It will be defined by the smartest and most agile networks. Whoever innovates faster wins. The old rules are gone, and a new era has begun. Now tell me, what surprised you the most in this whole story? Leave your opinion in the comments, and if this video changed how you see modern warfare, share it with anyone else who's interested in the topic and subscribe to the channel for upcoming videos. See you next time.